names and tell the voice. So today I have a problem. I have a problem with Nigerians because I've seen them complaining on social media. But before that, just to let you know, my name is the voice. I do traveling videos, and I am in Kenya right now, and Nigeria just completed their general elections, and they have a new president-elect right now. So there is something coming up on social media. Some people are satisfied, some people are complaining, but I still have a problem with them. I have a problem. Let me tell you this, and not about Nigeria, but most African countries, including my home country, Kenya. So, with a population of around, is it 213,400,000 people, with a voter registration of course 93 million. Imagine, that's crazy. 93 million, more than the population of Kenya. You can imagine. 93 million. 93 million. I'm talking about in millions. That is the biggest voter registration in Africa. That is the biggest. So with that, only 25 million people were able to vote or voted. That is so. And then people are complaining, like this may be not the right guy supposed to be the president or a leader, but you people never voted. That's another problem about we as African countries. We as Africans are not voting. So even how are we going to come together when we cannot do even a basic thing as voting? Okay, personally, I do vote, man. I can't miss voting. I can't miss voting. I can't miss voting. Even though we normally say most African voters don't know what they want, and that's why we keep on, voting. Niaze kiongozi. Most people are not even hello, how are you? Most people even, they don't know. They vote maybe in tribal perspectives also, and not about economic empowerment or growth. So those are things that are happening in most African countries, and we should up our game. We should up our game like right now. So let me go back to Nigeria. So they have a new president, and I've seen there is chaos actually in what's up? You good? So the chaos in some states, simply because they do not agree with the one who won the election. But you guys never voted actually. Imagine 25 million, and we are talking about a population of 213,400,000 people. Do you know how crazy that is? And from that, you're voting 25 million people alone? Hey man, that's crazy. That's crazy. So what I'm trying to say, don't complain when you don't want to be part of the solution. You see? That number, see, I don't get it. Maybe Nigerians tell me in the comment section so that I get to understand, because with me, I really don't understand. Because you are failing as Africans, because you are the biggest economy in Africa. Like, you cannot go anywhere without meeting a Nigerian all over the world. Let me talk about Africa. Even why we're using the name Africa, we should change that name, because Africa is not an African name actually. It was from, I think, Americans, wherever, called someone Afrikaners. So anyway, let me teach you something. The correct names of Africa, we have got three correct names of Africa. It's either Azania, Kemet. Kemet was actually also used to call Egypt Kemet, or Ethiopia. Actually, those are the names for Africa when you go back then. So Ethiopia is not like just the Ethiopian country or the capital is Addis Ababa. Ethiopia is actually used to refer to Africa nation, especially the Eastern Africa side. Then Kemet was used also to call the nation of Egypt or the whole of Africa. And Azania was used to refer to the southern. So either of those three names refer to Africa. I've taught you something. I know you never knew that. I'm sure about that. Because they say if you want to hide something to Africans, hide it in the books. You should learn to read and research. You know? So, back to Nigeria. You know, Nigeria, you should be the real example of Africa. Because you are the biggest economy, you are everything, your culture spread everywhere, music. Talk about economics, even the richest person in Africa, Aliko Dangote, comes from Nigeria. So imagine that. Why can something like just voting be hard for you? Someone is going to tell me, no matter, you know, in most African countries, they do say, you know, even if I vote, they've already chosen the leader, the system. But you know the mark or the impact of you voting, that is a direct communication. Even if someone steals the election or not, that is a statement that people have voted. And the will of people are saying this and that. Man, we should up our game. So how are we going to come together if we cannot do even a basic thing? I know this generation, we are not going to unite. Now, as Africans, we are still making the steps, but still there is foolishness among we as Africans, and we should be able to recognize that. So, from recognizing that, okay, this is where we are missing, is when we are going to come up with, you know, a solid idea on how we are going to improve as ourselves by identifying, okay, this is a problem. So how are you going to do, or how are we going to do away with this? Yes. How are you? I'm good. How are you? How is life? Why are you saying so? What is the problem actually? Oh, you have she has a problem with the camera. No problem. But things will be alright. Things will be alright, bro. Yeah. Keep working hard, bro. He's saying life is tough, but he voted. But I told him, you know, things will be better. But something positive is that you can see him, you know, working, doing something, and that's how it's supposed to be. At least he's working hard. He's a working nation like that. Africans are really hard working. So sometimes leadership fails us, but I believe things will be alright. Even if it's not with this generation, because I just see the truth and point blank, because we have that inferiority mindset still. But when we remove that and actually be able to manipulate our potential, man, there's no country in the world that is going to be like Africa. When we unite, because I know Africa, right now we are in the process. Let me show you something. These people are doing good business here. You see, people are working hard, yeah? So I was saying this. I'm in Sleeve, at where you find the biggest mall in Africa, the BBS. So I was saying this. This generation, maybe we may not be able to achieve in unification of Africa, but I believe the coming generation is going to be able, because still right now we have people who still think they are inferior as Africans. Man, can you believe that? Someone still believes that, you know, we cannot do anything without Americans, or maybe Chinese, or maybe, you know, Koreans, or maybe, you know, Arabs, or maybe wherever the countries, or Europe. But they don't know that we have everything to make us the biggest economy in the world when we unite, because there is power in unity. That's why you're seeing these things. You go to China with Taiwan issue, they know they have to come together to bring their numbers together. Go to India, they know the purpose of numbers. Go to Europe. In fact, the tiny countries, many in Europe, very tiny countries, they have come together to form that, European Union. Go to America, those tiny countries, they have come together to form the United States of America. But when it comes to Africa, many people they have that selfish thinking that cannot work, and it is instilled in our minds that we cannot come together, but in real sense we can come together as Africans and make an impact that has never been seen in the world before. So think about it. Even still, I'm here, people are still watching, but I just know there's still a number of them going to say, that is impossible. It is possible. I'm good, how are you, bro? Yeah. So Africans are very friendly people, actually, so don't worry or don't find it awkward when you see someone greeting you. Just say hello. It's just a normal thing in Africa. So that's it, man. So I was saying, there are still people who believe that we cannot come together, and actually the colonizers, or maybe the Western world, is taking that into their advantage simply because they want to create that mentality that we cannot come together. But when we realize our true strengths and capabilities and the advantage of coming together and put away all the selfish mentalities and gains that we want to achieve by ourselves, then we are going to be the biggest economy in the world. So just think about it. Now remove that thing that I'm Nigerian, I'm Congolese, just imagine a country like Congo, it is the richest country in the world in terms of resources, yet is among the poorest economically. So what if we come together, man, and say we are going to support our Congolese brothers? We are superpower. Africa is the superpower. Africa is the country that's supposed to rule the world, man. But we have been divided and given that mentality to think that we are inferior, something that you're not supposed to be thinking at this given point. You get it. I want to know what you think in the comment section. And honestly, there is a fellow African feeling bad simply because I was in a mall built here by the Somalis, and it is the biggest mall in Africa. Let me repeat it again. It's not among the biggest. Of course, it is among the biggest, but among the biggest, it is the biggest. So unfortunate. That is jealousy, man, to our Somali brothers. Why this hate to our Somali brothers yet to want to come together as Africans? We cannot work like that, man. We cannot work like that. Back to Nigeria. Even you have made me to be out of topic, but it's all right. I'm very confident to share with you this because I'm an African. I love Africa, and even I should be speaking in Swahili. Swahili is a language that I'm very comfortable with, but because the colonizers made us to speak it, so imagine I have to use a foreign language to communicate to fellow Africans. That's so absurd. So absurd. So absurd. Very bad. But it's alright. That's why. But one thing that I love right now about Africa, we have started adopting African languages like Swahili right now. Was adopted by the UN. So most countries right now are teaching their students or their children how to speak Swahili. So when we have our own language, as Africans, we can be able, man, to have our own identity. We can choose any language. Like right now they say Swahili. We can choose maybe because we don't have any problem with any language. Maybe Zulu. We can use Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. We can use Lingala, but they say Swahili because Swahili is widely spoken. So he's the one that right now is being used for unification. That's a great step that we are making as an African Union, but we're still not there. We need to go very fast. We need to create that awareness to fellow Africans who still think they are very inferior. Man, this is the epitome of mankind, the cradle of mankind. Anything that you can even think of, it is here in Africa. Man, so back to Nigerians, man. I was saying like this. What happened? People should not complain because you people never voted. You never voted actually. 25 million people out of a population of 93 registered voters. You never voted. To me, it's like you never voted. You never voted, and that happens in most African countries because when you don't vote, we allow idiots to be in office. We allow idiots to be in office. People who we don't want. People who have no clue. Hey man, that's so sad. Take for example me. I have to travel all the way. By the way, my hometown or my village is actually in the border between Kenya and Uganda. So I have to cross all the way up country. But I went to vote. But still, even no one that I voted for won the election. But that does not make me to feel bad. It's actually I know I exercise my democratic right. I voted. Nobody from the member of county assembly, go to the member of parliament, go to MCA, woman rep, go to the governor, go to the president. Nobody that I voted for won. But I'm satisfied. I made a decision. Anyway, most voters, they say I'm idiots, and I'm glad I'm not part of it. Sorry for that. I'm joking, at the same time I'm not joking, because we normally vote for mediocrity, mostly in Africa. Say somebody, this is our person, this is from my tribe, I don't know, this guy is a hustler, this guy I don't know, he's Joshua, this guy I don't know. Those nonsense. But I'm really disheartened, and I feel sad for Nigeria being the biggest economy, our biggest brother in Africa, yet they cannot vote. Man. What are you giving? What are the example you're giving to other African countries? So bad. In Isli, in a town in Africa, that our Somali brothers have made it to be in the next level. Here, even today I've bought something here. Amazing, very beautiful. In fact, I bought a shirt. You know, I have to support my brothers, and they're selling it at a fair price. This one. Let me show you. This white shirt. Here you're seeing. Very beautiful. So, I'm going wherever I'm going, man. But it has been wonderful talking to you and sharing with you this beautiful story. My name is Ntal the Voice. Let me go with this one. Let me go with Matatu. Actually, so I've closed my day. So here is Isli, now living in Isli. But it has been wonderful. So I'm using the public means in Kenya for the Matatu. They're charging me around 40 shillings, like so 40 to 3 cents in US dollars. Thank you for watching. My name is Ntal the Voice.